All right, Lisa Carpenter, Master Coach. Thank you so much for joining me for, damn, I wish somebody would have told me that virtual summit. I'm so excited to have you here. You're always a joy to connect with, and we jam and we talk about different things, and we just never know where it's going to go. But I know that this will be chock full of really good stuff for the viewer. So welcome.
Well, thank you for having me because this is going to be a good conversation because God knows I have had my butt handed to me many a time in my entrepreneurial journey. And there are lots of things that I would go back and tell myself to do differently. So it is going to be a fun conversation and it'll go where it goes.
Yes, and this is why this stuff is so priceless for the person that is doing this. It's like, oh, genuinely, I wish somebody would have told me that. But before we go into the tips, why don't you share with the viewer a little bit about yourself, kind of your elevator pitch, who you help, and why you believe it matters?
Such a good question. So I work with driven, ambitious, A-type, I call them humans because I work with men and women who really want more out of their life without having to sacrifice themselves more to get it. So they're really looking at taking better care of themselves, their physical and emotional well-being, because they've achieved tons of goals, right? They love achieving things, but it has come at a massive cost and they don't want to pay the price anymore. And the reason that that is so important is, because I really believe that we are here to accomplish and achieve everything that we want in our lives. But I think part of that comes from we have to learn how to take better care of ourselves because we're not here to just like burn ourselves out in the process. We're meant to live joyful, fulfilling lives. And there's more to life than just chasing goals. And for most of my clients, they chase the goal, they get the goal, and then they're on to the next goal anyways. They don't even pause and reflect on it. So it's really bringing it back to what's most important in life. So go out and achieve the big goals. But, I like to say, love what you do, but love yourself more. And it's really learning what that means and how it will change your life when you really harness that.
So important, such important work. And what do you think is a common then obstacle? I mean, you've seen it all, right? All kinds of people from all walks of life, entrepreneurs from men, women, all the things. Like, what do you think is a common struggle that prevents somebody from achieving what they want in as they deem what it means to be a success as an entrepreneur?
Trying too hard, like trying too hard. So looking for the perfect thing that will allow them to have success faster, whether it's the program, the funnel, the coach, the widget, but always chasing, like there must be that thing. And if I could just master that one thing, then I'll get what I need or what I want. And so often the solution that they're looking for is not going to be found in a widget or a funnel or a perfect course. It comes from doing the work on themselves and understanding who they are as a human being and what's driving them in the first place.
Yeah, most definitely. I love that. I love that. I say that too, like there is no silver bullet. And I know you're a big advocate for the whole chop wood, carry water mentality. And I agree. It's like I call it the unsexy truth of what it takes in order to make things happen. So we are so on the same page with that. So let's transition to the 3 tips that you have. Damn, I wish somebody would have told me that. What is your tip number 1?
You have to have a relationship with money and not just wanting more of it, but actually having a relationship with money, meaning, I had to learn what it meant to be a CFO in my business, understand my numbers, make peace with my bank account and what it meant to really run my company. It was so much more than just making money, because if you don't have a healthy relationship with money, if you don't have reverence for your money, and there's lots of layers to what that relationship looks like, but you can think about it as, if money were a person, are you treating your money the way you would treat somebody you love? And I had to really learn that because I wanted more money, yet I wasn't actually treating my money with any sort of reverence. I didn't open my bills, didn't pay my bills on time. I was constantly racking up debt. I had no idea how to organize my business finances. I didn't trust myself with money. So that was, when I started to master kind of the foundational pieces of growing a business, that really helped my business grow.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. It's so important. Can you just kind of share a little bit about that? Because The cost of not doing that. So what was it? I mean, I'm sure you went through the landmines and obstacles of not having figured that out. What did that
Mm.
look like when you didn't have it figured out?
So I thought that if I spent more money, that that would be the thing that would make me more money. But I didn't actually ever look at the habits that I needed to have around money that would allow me to, for lack of a better word, manage it better. So when I really started to dive into the work, I realized I didn't trust myself with money. I didn't trust myself to manage it. I was afraid of numbers. I grew up being horrible at math. And then I had equated that if I was bad at math, I was going to be bad at money. Well, if you believe you're bad at money, you'll never allow yourself to have money. So I had to learn how to trust myself with money. So setting up proper business bank accounts. I had to stop treating my business like my personal bank account, right? Like my personal piggy bank. I also had to pay myself. So I was giving my business everything. So I had this codependent relationship on my business. I wanted my business to provide me with everything. I would pour everything into it and then feel resentful that it wasn't giving me what I wanted. Yet at the end of the day, I wasn't taking responsibility for how I was managing my money. I wasn't paying myself, but I sure was spending a lot of money on a lot of things that I didn't need, that I could have easily done without. So I run my business really tight now, and I love it because I'm here to be profitable. I want to be profitable.
Absolutely.
So lots of layers to how I healed my relationship with money. So it's not about manifestation or, we hear a lot of people talk about manifestation codes or what you need to do to manifest more money. It was literally looking at the doing aspects of like, how am I showing up with my money? What am I not doing? How do I need to value it? How do I need to be a CFO in my business?
Love it. All right. What about tip number 2 of damn, I wish somebody would have told me that.
Nothing needs to be perfect before you start. So I used to get caught up in perfectionism. So I remember when I moved my business online and I had this, amazing course. Patty, you know all about this, right? This course was going to be the thing that brought me all the success. And, I spent thousands of dollars on the branding and on the videos and on the where I was going to host it and all this stuff. And then I put it out in the world, yet I hadn't focused on who was going to buy it. So I had this perfect package, which now I look back, I look like a robot in the videos. It's quite funny because I thought if things were just perfect, then people would buy it. But I used getting things perfect to avoid the work that I needed to be doing, which was growing my audience and connecting with people. So instead of focusing on having this giant launch, I needed to just get it out into the waters and test it. So nowadays I'm like, oh, I think I'll do this thing. And I just put it out in the world and I figure it out as I go and I tweak it and test it and change it. And I don't really pour a lot of time or energy or effort into any type of marketing or branding until I've kind of messily tested what I want to do, because I have wasted so much time and money making things perfect only to find out they're not what my people want anyways. So let it be messy. As you like to say, just ship it. Like
Yeah.
nobody cares.
Can I tell you, it's so refreshing to hear that because I don't know any other way now. I remember my first course, same thing. I think everybody needs to go through that. But the saying goes, I think it was a LinkedIn CEO who said, if you're not utterly embarrassed by the first iteration of your product, it means you probably waited too long to ship it, or the equivalent of what he said. And so I know that I was the same way. I was like, oh, it has to be perfect, and the slides and the this and the that. And it's just so ridiculous because now I don't ever create any of that. Like I sell the concept first, and this is what I teach. And it's just so rewarding to be detached from just testing something and see, hey, and then to your point, being nimble about making the modifications as you go along. And it's just the best because it allows for more creativity and you're really serving people exactly what they need almost in real time. You're counting more on your business intuition. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of
I think so often we're trying to avoid judgment. right? So if we can make it perfect, then nobody's going to judge us. And again, women can get caught up in there. Well, if I'm going to charge somebody for this, it has to be perfect if I'm going to put a price tag on it.
Yeah.
So we often get into like over delivering and over perfecting because we're just trying to avoid the discomfort of not feeling confident in ourselves, or what will people think of us, or whatever it is. And now I just don't have time for that.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that. There's people here that I'm here to serve. There's people that are watching this that they're here to serve. And the longer you're stuck in trying to perfect something, the more you're withholding that help from the person that needs it. So I would rather just put something out there, do it messy, and then get feedback, clean it up. Do I like this? Do I not like this? How would I change it? And then continue to tweak and change. And that just goes back to, when we stop trying to be in a rush to get somewhere and we really enjoy the journey of growing a business, it becomes so much more enjoyable because you're not trying to get it right. I'm here for the long term. And if you're here to play the long game, there's nowhere to get to. You're always going to be evolving and changing and growing. So you may as well have fun with just trying stuff. And if you don't like it, fine, move on. But I don't have time for perfect anymore.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. And your last tip.
Oh, okay. So talk about unsexy. This is like the most unsexiest tip ever. But learn how to do the ordinary things extraordinarily well. And that is a quote from one of my coaches, because growing a business is not, it's not always fireworks and roller coasters. And in fact, I don't believe it needs to be that way. I think we create a lot of drama and a lot of problems in our business that don't need to be there. And when it comes down to it, it's the ordinary things that create results, like learning how to sell and learning how to market properly. I relate it to what I do in the gym. The most effective workout programs are the least sexy ones. There's no fancy equipment involved. It's just doing the same thing over and over and working on progressive overload. And that's the way it is in the business too. It doesn't matter what level you reach. You still just have to show up and do the same thing again next time. So you have to learn how to do those ordinary things extraordinarily well, love what you're doing. But you also have to embrace the parts you don't love about business, because it's not all super fun and exciting, right? Like I love when I'm coaching my clients, but there's a lot of things in my business I don't love. But those are the ordinary things that I have to just get extraordinarily good at doing. And then my business will continue to grow.
Love it. Love it. All right. So I'm going to recap for the viewer. Number 1 is the relationship with money. Be the CFO of your business. Number 2, nothing needs to be perfect before you start. And then number 3, learn to do the ordinary things extraordinarily well. I love that one. Those are so good. Ones to live by. I personally see immense amount of value in understanding these and implementing them. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that. And how do people get more information, how to work with you, how to connect with you, all the things?
The best way is for them to just hop on my newsletter. Again, I know it isn't sexy, but I don't think we need more freebies in the world. Right. So, if people are interested in what I have to say, they can just go over to lisacarpenter.ca/newsletter. I also have a podcast called the Full Frontal Living Podcast, and they can follow along there. I'm not going to put out stuff in the world just to put stuff out in the world. So
I love it. Excellent. So the links are right below this video on how to connect with Lisa. Definitely check out her podcast. It's super popular. People rave about it. Very, very good interviews and insights on how to, I don't know, how would you describe to somebody? I'm trying to think of like things to help move you forward past your shit.
Basically, right? Like how to get over overdoing and being busy all the time, how to prioritize your wellness, how to prioritize your physical well-being, kind of everything that I see in high-performing individuals who really want more out of their lives, but again, want to prioritize themselves and are like, I don't know how to let go of stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to stop doing these things. So I kind of dive into a whole bunch of topics over there and whatever else is on my mind, to be honest. So it's another place where I just do it messy, right? Say what needs to come through, and whatever lands with people lands with people.
Excellent, Lisa. Thank you so much for being on this virtual summit and sharing these insights, and I'm sure will be valuable to somebody listening when they implement. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Patty.